A woman received donor eyes, but she never expected they'd show her death. The story opens in a small village at night. Voices echo through the darkness, shouting, accusing, calling a woman a witch. Stones strike the walls of her home. Inside, a frightened girl stands on a chair with a rope around her neck. Before she can act, a black shadow pushes the chair away. Her body drops, and the house goes silent. The film shifts to Los Angeles. Sydney Wells is a gifted classical violinist. Successful, respected, and blind since childhood after a fireworks accident. Despite her condition, she lives alone and moves through life with trained precision. Cane in hand, senses heightened. But Sydney has waited years for a chance to see again, and that moment finally arrives. She receives a donor. Corneal transplant surgery is scheduled. The surgery succeeds. While recovering in the hospital, Sydney befriends a young girl named Alicia, bright, curious, and alone. They talk, share stories, and spend long hours together. When the bandages come off, Sydney's sight returns slowly. Shapes, lights, colors, it's all blurry and overwhelming. Doctors tell her the brain needs time to adjust. That night, Sydney hears footsteps. She opens her eyes and sees an elderly woman sitting up in the next bed, awake, frightened. Then a large black figure appears beside her. The figure touches the woman, and together they walk down the hallway. Sydney follows, unsure if she's dreaming. The next morning, the staff tells Sydney the woman died during the night. Sydney goes quiet. She saw the woman walking. She saw her leave, but she was already dead. After recovering further, Sydney leaves the hospital. Before she goes, Alicia takes a photo of them together, her final gift. Back home, family and friends celebrate her return. But the noise, faces, and motion overwhelm her newly forming vision. She starts therapy with Dr. Paul Faulkner, assigned to help her retrain her senses and synchronize her sight with sound and touch. As days pass, Sydney's world brightens, edges sharpen, faces become recognizable. But with clarity comes something darker, visions of fire, ruined buildings, and strangers dying. At night, she hears movement in the hall. A young boy in a raincoat appears at her door, asking if she's seen his report card. When she turns, he vanishes. Sydney grows uneasy. During orchestra practice, she collapses after a woman walks directly through her body, cold and silent.
I told you I was gonna do it.
There was a woman.
No one else sees it. The hallucinations escalate. Flames fill her apartment. People scream. Then everything returns to normal in an instant. On the street, Sydney collides with a woman who passes straight through her. Moments later, Sydney sees the same woman lying dead in the road after being hit by a car. A black figure bends over the corpse, collecting her spirit. Before disappearing, the shadow turns toward Sydney, as if aware she can see it. Terrified, Sydney takes shelter in a Chinese restaurant and calls Paul for help. While waiting, the kitchen explodes in her vision. The building crumbles. Bodies lie among the smoke. Then Paul arrives and explains the truth. The restaurant did burn down 1 week earlier. Everyone inside died. Sydney wasn't seeing the past or the present. She was seeing death. Sydney breaks down. Paul doesn't believe her and insists it's psychological. She leaves him, wounded and alone. In an elevator lobby, she sees an old man facing the wall. But the security monitor shows the elevator is empty. Sydney refuses to enter. When she takes the next elevator, the same man appears beside her. She screams until the doors open. The boy in the raincoat returns, still asking for his report card. Then he throws himself out the window without a sound. Sydney rushes over. There is nobody below. The boy appears again and begins to follow her. Sydney locks herself inside her apartment, breaks the lights, covers her eyes, wishes for blindness. The world she finally regained is far worse than the world she lost. Paul eventually forces his way inside and finds her injured and terrified. He takes her to the hospital. That night, Alicia appears at her bedside. She says she has to go. Sydney reaches for her, too late. The dark figure stands behind Alicia, taking her away. Alicia dies, and her spirit fades with him. In the morning, Sydney's sister Helen arrives. She gives Sydney a photo, taken by Alicia. But Sydney sees the face of another woman where her own should be. Sydney's reflection is not her own. The face she sees belongs to someone else. Sydney searches for answers. She learns a theory: cellular memory, the idea that organs can carry fragments of emotion, memory, or perception from their original owner. If true, the visions she sees are not hers. They are the donor's final memories. Sydney demands the donor's identity from Paul. He refuses. Legally, he cannot reveal it. Later, he breaks the rules and tells her anyway. The donor was a young woman named Anna from Mexico. Sydney and Paul travel there. As they drive through Anna's village, Sydney sees burned figures drifting through a destroyed building. She knows the place without being told. A nearby child explains, "It was once a ceramics factory. A fire killed everyone inside. Some villagers blamed a witch." Sydney and Paul find Anna's mother, Mrs. Martinez. When she sees Sydney's eyes, she breaks down. Those were her daughters. Those were Anna's. Mrs. Martinez explains, "Anna could see death before it arrived. She warned people, begged them to leave the factory. No one believed her. Soon after, the building exploded. Many died. The villagers blamed Anna and called her cursed. They attacked her house, calling her a witch. Anna believed her mother died in the fire and blamed herself. She ended her life the same night." As Mrs. Martinez speaks, the black figure appears behind her, silent and patient. Moments later, Mrs. Martinez collapses. Paul rushes her to the hospital. Sydney remains in the house. Downstairs, Sydney sees Anna's spirit, frozen in the moment of her death. Trapped, reliving her final night again and again. Sydney steps forward and tells her the truth. She was not the cause. She did not bring death. She saw what could not be changed. It was a gift, misunderstood and feared. Anna finally releases her guilt. Her spirit fades, and the house still grows. Sydney and Paul leave Mexico. On the border, they find themselves trapped in heavy traffic. Police pursue a criminal through the stopped lanes. A gasoline tanker sits nearby. Sydney scans the cars around her. Black figures enter vehicle after vehicle. This is not a memory. It's about to happen. Sydney warns Paul. He believes her now. They run car to car, ordering people out, begging them to move. Some listen. Some do not. Then the criminal's vehicle slams into the tanker. The explosion tears through the freeway. Flying glass blinds Sydney once again. Fire spreads, sirens roar. The black figures collect the souls of the dead. Time passes. We see Sydney on stage, violin in hand. Her sight is gone again. Her music remains. And as the last note fades, the narration closes. Some gifts are burdens. Some truths arrive only through pain. And some things are better left unseen. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe for more.